My name is Rasha. I'm an educational and political content creator. I'm an Iraqi immigrant living in Aotearoa, and this is my brave story. My family and I, we immigrated from Iraq. So I came to New Zealand, to Aotearoa at a very young age, at the age of 5. So I didn't know a word of English. It was only Arabic. Going to primary school, that was fantastic. High school had a little bit different. People start picking up on the fact that you look different, you sound different. You might not be able to attend certain events that people consider to be normal, like going out on the weekends, doing things that maybe is considered not normal in your culture, in the way you were raised, in your upbringing, in the values. And so I found it really hard to be one person, true to myself, but I felt like it was in two different environments. My home was one thing, but then taking a step outside my front door was a completely another thing. It was entering a different universe, a different world, and I felt like I was constantly having to defend myself, having to justify myself, having to fight to be seen as a human, as one of you, to be heard as just Rasha, not Rasha the Muslim, or Rasha the immigrant, or Rasha the Iraqi, just Rasha. Being different in Aotearoa growing up came with many challenges. It came with a lot of judgment and criticism. It came with a lot of misunderstanding. And it did come with a lot of lack of empathy towards one's experiences and struggles. That really affected my teenage years, the most pivotal years of your life, where you're learning to who you are, what you like, what you don't. But I always had my voice. I think every person has an intuition voice. And I encourage you to listen to that voice, because that's going to guide you through life. Internally, I always had a voice that was guiding me. This is wrong. This is not right. I don't want to be here. This is not my environment. But I felt in order to fit in, I silenced that voice. I was very vulnerable, and I became victim to stripping my identity completely in order to fit in, to feel seen, to be accepted, to be seen as normal, as a Kiwi, I guess you could say. With the current climate of our world and what's happening, the blistering struggle of injustice in Palestine has completely reconnected me to my faith, to my religion, to my identity. It's reignited this pride in being a Muslim Arab woman and never feeling like I don't belong here. I think the sense of feeling like I don't belong in Aotearoa, I'll carry that with me for life. Because if I was also to go back to my homeland, which I have never been to, I was born in Baghdad in Iraq, but I've never got to experience my homeland. So even if I went home, I'd be a foreigner there. And my home, who I grew up here all my life almost, I'm a foreigner here. Being a teenager, because I stripped my identity so much, because of what the media convinces you to believe, that particularly Muslims are really harshly judged and falsely villainized. And that affected enormous amounts of generations, even the unborn. And so because I didn't want to be associated, in my mind I was thinking, I'm Arab, I'm Muslim, I come from a beautiful community, beautiful people. Our religion is pure and kind, and how can people be saying this about us? And if this is true, I want no part of it. So I completely detached, and I became something that I just did not recognize anymore. I was always You're not Muslim enough. You're too Muslim. You're not light enough to be an Arab. Wait, you're too dark to be an Arab. You don't sound like the other Arabs. You sound Kiwi. You're either too much of something or not enough of something. Trying to meet in the middle to this day is still a struggle. Growing up as a teenager, I now completely understand everything that my parents instilled in us and were fearful of for us to do. Because our parents really wanted to instill our values, our morals, our beliefs, our culture, our language. I get that now. And when I saw how Muslims were being completely misrepresented to the entire globe as terrorists, aggressors, violent people, no one wants to be affiliated with that. 9/11 changed my entire childhood completely. 9/11 is what detached me from my identity. 7th of October is what reconnected me to my identity. And I encourage everyone to reconnect to their identity, because there's so many forces in this world that are forcing you to strip yourself to be who they want you to be. And I just think it's so important in this day and age to stay true to who you are and to drown out all the noise. I am married to a white South African, wonderful man. So our son is half South African, European South African, and half Iraqi. And I'm very lucky and very blessed that I have a husband and a father and a best friend that understands my desire to instill in my son our values and our morals and our religion and our culture. And because it's so beautiful, moving forward, I see crystal clear now more than ever. I want to instill in my son to be brave, to stand out in a crowd full of people that all look the same and sound the same, and just get in line, form in line. I want him to be different. I want him to embrace being different. I want him to see that being different is a beautiful thing, and he can use that to actually make change in the world. Because the way I see it, especially after what's happening in Palestine, apartheid originated in South Africa. My husband has lived that world in a different way. And I come from a world where we are the oppressed and he is essentially the oppressor. I see my son as these two worlds meeting together, creating love. So I think it's beautiful, because I will teach him his dad's history, his mother's history, and blend that together so he can make a genuine change and impact to this world. I've always felt I have a strong moral compass, and my inner voice has honestly guided me so much in life. And I honestly really wish that throughout my teenage years, I had the confidence and strength to listen to that intuition more. Had I listened to her, no way would I have stripped my identity in order to fit in, and obviously somewhere I didn't belong. So if I could go back to my teenage self, it would be drown out all of the noise, drown everything out, put it on mute, and listen to your inner voice. You know what you want for yourself. You know you have the best intentions for yourself. Focus on that voice